Are you ready for more Cyberpunk news? Sorry, I had to. So, we are going to be talking about a bunch of Cyberpunk news today, but also I wanted to talk about what is going on with the very much developing story behind the Bayonetta voice actress controversy, I guess you would call it. Very interesting because it does actually affect the entire gaming industry, and I definitely want to talk about it. But also, let's get to the headlines. Check it out. It says sad news about Cyberpunk Edgerunner Season 2. We got an official update about the potential of an Edgerunner Season 2 from CD Projekt Red. Now, some of you may actually consider this to be good news. I'm curious about your take on this, so let me know in the comments. Also, new Cyberpunk character introduced to the expansion, and it's possible they might actually be friends with Judy, so this could be very interesting indeed. Also, we have changes to Cyberpunk upset fans. The community is pleading with CD Projekt Red to bring back patched out features, but do we really need these features brought back? Let's dive into that as well. Also, yes, we're going to be talking about the Bayonetta 3 voice actress controversy. This is very big. Who's telling the truth, Platinum Games or the voice actress? We have a brand new update from Jason Schreier about this one. All right, so let's get into our very first headline here. Yes, I'm sure you heard the news that Cyberpunk adds Sasha Grey, community radio, and a new novel. Now, if you didn't hear, Sasha Grey is going to be playing Ash, who's going to be the DJ for this brand new community radio. Now, she has done voice work actually in the past for a little game called Saints Row. So I'm curious to see what she does here with Ash in, of course, the Cyberpunk expansion Phantom Liberty. Now, here are some interesting details about this. This comes from Forbes. Check it out. It says, Grey will voice Ash, who's hosting a new community radio station coming to Cyberpunk, which is the next item that we need to detail here. Grey's addition to the cast is similar to how the game added Grimes in a role as Lizzie Wizzy, with the singer not known for lots of voice work previously, but an interesting eye-catching addition. It's not clear if Grey's Ash will appear in-game at all, or if she will just be a DJ voiced on the radio. All we know so far is that Ash is a member of the Mox, like Judy, so we might actually hear about some sort of friendship or interaction between Judy and Ash. That could be very cool and interesting. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one, but that'll be very interesting for sure. Now, let's talk about more Cyberpunk and Edgerunners. Check it out. Cyberpunk Edgerunners Season 2 is currently not in the works, producer says. Just to be clear, Edgerunners was a standalone work. Now, some of you may absolutely be crushed to hear about this, but I feel like some of you may be relieved and be like, yes, let's do it one and done and not do any more with Edgerunners. It is absolutely sacred. So let's go ahead and see what CD Projekt Red had to say about this one right here. It says, I personally would like to continue to work with Japanese studios to produce more anime in the future, partly because we have received very good feedback. Furthermore, they go on to say this, however, just to be clear, Cyberpunk Edgerunners was planned as a standalone work, so there's no such thing as we are actually working on Season 2 in the background. So right now, they're not even planning it. It was never in the cards. They had no plans whatsoever. Furthermore, it says, even if we could make more anime in the future, I don't know if it would be Season 2 or something completely different. Now, if you guys are familiar with Trigger Studios, they're usually one and done, and that's it for the most part. However, if they do decide to continue anything with Cyberpunk, I don't think it would be Edgerunners. I think it would be something entirely new, and it would most likely be around Cyberpunk Orion. That's just my personal opinion about that one, and that would be like in the next, 5 years. But right now, CD Projekt Red is focused on getting the expansion done and out, and then they're going to rotate over to The Witcher. If anything, Trigger Studio would most likely maybe work on a Witcher anime. That's my assumption. All right, so let's keep going, shall we? So we're going to talk about some patched out features of Cyberpunk 2077 that the community desperately wants back, it seems. Check it out right here. It says, can we please get the old clothing store back? This one was posted by Agent Chieftain, who says, it's way too hard to find certain items of clothing now. I've been farming wraiths to get the extra cotton utility pants for over 8 hours now. My God. But still nothing, and even if I do eventually find it, I still have to hunt down the jacket as well. Please revert the stores back, CD Projekt Red. I want to get this outfit again on my new playthrough. You can see the sleek outfit right here. Let me know if you guys are in the same boat on this one, if you feel like they need to revert back to the old store system, or if you like how the current rotation works. There's a lot more farming going on with clothing right now in Cyberpunk 2077 when it comes to like a lot of the highly desirable stuff. But mods have a habit of alleviating that problem. I've seen some really cool mods. But anyway, yes, let me know what you guys think about that one. Also, check this out right here. Why was attribute respec removed? This is a big discussion within the community. Being able to respec your attributes. Yes, we can respec our perk points, but it seems like a lot of you guys are desperate to be able to respec your attribute points. I've seen some discussions in this thread, however, where people are saying, hey, it's actually good news. You don't get to respec your attributes because it increases, the replayability of the game. But a lot of people are also saying, well, I made one tiny mistake with my attributes. All I want to do is change one little thing. Let me change that. I personally think it should be a feature that you guys should always have options instead of having to like completely restart a game. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the Bayonetta voice actress controversy, because I think it ties into gaming as a whole, and even heck, Cyberpunk 2077. We've seen more and more games, even like Death Stranding and that sort of thing, cater towards Hollywood voice actors, and they get paid even big bucks when they are voicing, games. And a lot of voice actors and actresses are just underpaid and underappreciated. Now, this is a developing story for sure, and we have some updates from Jason Schreier. Check it out right here. Last weekend, Bayonetta's former voice actor called for fans to boycott the new game, saying she was offered just $4,000 to work on it. Her Twitter videos went viral and stoked a debate over voice actor wages. But the full story is more complicated. So let's get into it right now. It says this: Platinum offered Helena Taylor between $3,000 and $4,000 per session for at least 5 sessions, according to 2 people familiar with the deal and documentation viewed by Bloomberg. In response, the people said Taylor asked for a 6-figure fee and residuals. Negotiations fell apart. And, let me know what you guys think about 6 figures for voicing Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3. Do you think that's too much? Do you think that's on point? Do you think she deserves that? I mean, this is a pretty high caliber franchise, so much so that Nintendo was willing to pay big bucks to get it on the platform, but it doesn't perform as well as other games. Like Bayonetta 2 only sold like 1 million copies, so that's a whole other thing. Anyway, let's get into this furthermore. Jason Schreier says, Taylor denies this account. In an email to Bloomberg, she called that version of events an absolute lie and said that Platinum is trying to save their butts and the game. Furthermore, it goes on to say this: Taylor's videos have received more than 9.5 million views on Twitter and led to a deluge of calls from fans and pundits to boycott Bayonetta 3. But accounts and evidence reviewed by Bloomberg make it clear that those videos were not the whole story. Now, it goes on to say this: furthermore, Taylor's videos also led to a barrage of Twitter vitriol and harassment towards Platinum developers and new Bayonetta actor Jennifer Hell, who put out a statement saying she could not comment and subsequently retweeted a telling thread. So yeah, it's ended up in being a total mess right now. And apparently it was 4 or 5 sessions that she was offered the original former Bayonetta voice actress to voice Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3. And that's roughly about like $15,000 overall for the entire game, which to me is just absurdly low. I'm just going to still say that. Even if people are like, well, she said 4,000, Platinum Games are saying 15,000. At the end of the day, to me, that whole argument doesn't matter. At the end of the day, $15,000 is just unacceptable. Like, that's crazy, crazy low for being in a, what I consider a AAA title that Nintendo desperately wanted on their platform. I just find it absolutely ridiculous. And we've seen disrespect towards voice actors before. I mean, take David Hayter, the voice actor of, Snake from Metal Gear. He didn't even get a call when he was totally replaced by a famous Hollywood actor. And I'm sure that that famous Hollywood actor, was paid far more than David Hayter ever was. So I just find it kind of like, respect the voice actors. They're extremely talented. Voice acting is not easy whatsoever, and they deserve to be paid. All right, so they, Jason Schreier goes on to say this. Let's wrap this up here. It says it's unlikely that the full story will get as much traction or as many eyeballs as the original Twitter videos, which in my opinion raises some interesting questions about leads to emotion and how information is disseminated in the social media age. Dun dun dun. So there's two sides to this story. You have Platinum Games on one hand saying one thing, and then you have, of course, the Bayonetta 3 voice or former Bayonetta voice actor saying another. And it's just a bummer, because also another element of this is you have a lot of the developers that have poured their heart and soul into this game, and to have this happen around release just sucks to see. All right, so let's go ahead and get into your top comments from my most recent video. So let's do this. What was my most recent video about? That's a good question. Check it out right here. Does Phantom Liberty get surprising update, 4090 RTX gameplay, new expansion details? So yeah, we talked about the new radio station in that video and the fact that it was going to be centered around this new district, which is going to be connected to Pacifica. So interesting stuff. Now let's see what you guys had to say. Andrew Fitz says the following right here. He says, the thing I want most is a constantly evolving world where gang rivalries, NCPD scanner requests, random shootouts, and car chases are constantly happening across the world, or at least are being reset on some rotating basis. I thought this would be like common sense to me. Like, as a developer at this point, why wouldn't they do that in the first place? It's just shocking to me that NCPD things are not on a random, kind of rotating timer, that if you clear one, it'll be back maybe as a different event. Maybe it's like 5 events that kind of rotate. You know what I mean? That would have been cool. And I honestly thought that's how they would do it. But anyway, we have Old Dirty Patrick, who says, with Phantom Liberty coming out, I would love to have a custom paint shop for vehicles. Seeing the custom paint jobs of the very talented Cyberpunk community would be epic. Dude, talk about a competition. It kind of reminds me of what goes on with Forza Horizon, that sort of thing. That would be really cool. Now we have Divine Boy 97 says, I kind of like the short main story because all the gigs and side missions make the world feel more open and alive. So he likes it to be more short and concise with that main story. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I still think that it was way too short, given the amount of time that they claim that this game took to develop. So that's my only issue with that one. Yeah, I would like a longer story. Dorothy says this, I wonder if they could add in the second game a crafting vendor. It would allow more freedom of character building without locking out the weapons that require being crafted from being obtained. I noticed with some of the line from Wilson at Second Amendment, it seemed like they might have planned one at some stage with how he gave V their gun after tuning it up, and how in the Shoot the Thrill V could tell him, let me expand this, tell him that he might make more money if he didn't upgrade all the guns before selling them, in which he states that he would ruin his pride. So maybe have him change or charge a fee, to craft and upgrade weapons. It might require getting some eddies on top of the needed materials, but it would also mean that people that don't want to put points into the tech skill tree aren't punished for doing so. Yeah, so that would be cool if they added something like that in maybe Cyberpunk Orion. I don't know if they could pull that off in the Phantom Liberty expansion. We'll have to wait and see what they do with that one for sure. All right, so let's get a few more in here, shall we? Chris P says this, I love Cyberpunk. Yeah, it's a little janky and unbalanced, but you can tell a lot of love went into the game. The world was fleshed out really well, and it's a gameplay that was underbaked. The game feels about 75% done. If they delayed another 2 years with Max Team, it would have been epic. Don't get me started. It would have been absolutely amazing if they could have done that. But it's interesting how things have turned out. It makes me wonder if they would have rotated to Unreal Engine 5 or not, if the game had been like an immense success and there were no bugs and things like that. That always fascinates me for sure. All right, so one more. We have Montreal Herb Inkson says this, I hope the DLC will feel a bit more like Deus Ex, with perhaps not the biggest new area, but filled with stuff and hidden things, apartments and places with no obvious way in, stuff like that, like what I wanted for the base. It had too little of that fill Well, for me anyway, haven't played since April last year, but I wanted to wait until we got proper police chases. Yeah, a lot of people are waiting for this game to be further fleshed out and updated. That makes total sense. But yes, it would be very cool if Phantom Liberty, this upcoming expansion, played a lot more like Deus Ex than anything else, or even like Metal Gear, which I honestly think you're on point. I think that could actually happen here. I think we might see more support for stealth and that sort of gameplay. So we'll have to wait and find out what they decide to do. But this is being described as like a spy thriller, which to me sounds very stealthy, in the shadows. So quite curious to see what they do there with it. There it is. Latest happenings around Cyberpunk 2077. And yeah, we talked about the Bayonetta controversy. Sound off. Let me know what you think. Who you're going to side with on this one. To me personally, it's just a shame all the way around. Voice actors and actresses deserve the ultimate respect. They are extremely talented. What they do is not easy at all. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.